call the meeting to order. And would you like to introduce yourself?
Yeah, I actually have Karen down officially on old business, the first item, but Karen can, if she wants to, we can kind of skip to
We
that.
can go in order, or I can go now, or?
She might ought to start off introducing herself right from the start. What do you think?
Yeah, let's
Yeah,
do it.
yeah.
Yeah, let's go
Yeah.
ahead.
So I'm Karen Snortland, and I am the new committee coordinator for the town of Superior. So when I work in the Parks, Recreation, and Open Space Department, Patrick is my supervisor, and I work in the same office that Brian does. So that's where I'm at. Thank you.
Yeah, if you want to go around and,
This is Maureen Hogue. I'm her brother, Mike Hogue.
I'm Mary Cartwright.
David Cosgrove.
Larry Dorsey.
Karen Woligorsky.
Bob Morgan.
Harold Waligorski.
Known as Wally.
Excellent. Very nice to meet all of you.
Nice to meet you, Karen.
Yeah, my stage name is Wally.
Yeah. You're known to plume.
Known throughout the land. Okay, so we'll call the meeting to order, and Karen, other Karen, will do the minutes. We got
It's
Karen's.
confusing.
Yes,
I had to add the initial after the Karens.
there we go.
I had Karen W. Superior Historical Commission meeting minutes, April 20th, 2018. Meeting was called to order by Vice Chairperson Mary Cartwright. Chairperson Larry Dorsey was out of town. In attendance were commission members Mary Cartwright, Lindsay Flewelling, Bob Morgan, Katie Olson, Errol Woligorsky, and Karen Woligorsky. Staff Brian Meyer, Town Board Liaison Rita Dozell, and others David Cartwright, Daryl McCool, Maureen Hogue, and Ed Vandenoord. The minutes of the March 16, 2018 meeting were read. Wally Woligorsky moved they be approved. Bob Morgan seconded the motion, and the motion carried. Treasurer's reports were given as follows. Bob Morgan reported that the fire truck account currently has a balance of $353.50. Mary Cartwright gave Bob some additional money received from a donation. Brian Meyer reported that there is $4,608 remaining in the 2018 Historic Preservation account. Debriefings were discussed as follows. There were several visitors to the museum opening April 7th. Laurel Russell, one of the visitors, donated a locket containing 2 pictures that had belonged to early residents of Superior. Larry Dorsey, Bob Morgan, and David Cartwright attended the ANFRAM meeting at the Denver Firefighters Museum April 16th. They all agreed it was a very interesting museum. Bob commented on some burned helmets on display from a structure fire. Larry Dorsey attended the Boulder Heritage Roundtable on April 19th. He has sent out an email to everyone regarding items from this meeting. He reminded everyone of the Square Nail Awards coming up on May 14th at Chautauqua, during which 2 of our members will be recognized. Our spring program, April 19th, was well attended. Approximately 30 people were present. It was a presentation by Jerry Morrell on the Columbine Mine Massacre. Everyone present thoroughly enjoyed the program. It was proposed by Wally that we send an honorarium gift of $50 to Jerry for providing this program. Bob Morgan seconded the motion. Larry and Mary attended the Louisville Historical Museum program on April 4th. The program was on early Major League Baseball and Bert Niehoff, a local resident who went to the major leagues for a while and then into managing. Katie Olson reported that she provided information from the commission for the rooftop drop. She passed around a flyer that was a part of the drop. Larry, Alan, and Mary met this month to continue work on cataloging, filing, and donation screening. There was no news reported on the oral history video QR project. As stated in the March meeting, Jill Roberts expects to begin work on it again in July. Maureen Hogue reported that she now will have some time to work on the content of the Superior Information and Wikipedia project. She passed around some handouts she had on the homepage write-up, as well as some other examples she had written. This work would have to be coordinated with the town. Members were reminded that the homepage work, as well as the Superior Historian, have been concluded as per the March meeting minutes. Karen reported that a thank you note needs to be sent to Laurel Russell for her donation of the locket. Additionally, she will send a thank you note to Jerry Morrell for his presentation of our spring program. Brian will supply the honorarium check to her for this thank you note. Karen and Mary reported that the as-written version of Jenny Crawford's writings typed by Jill has now been proofread. Corrections will be made to the as-written version to be preserved in the museum for future use. It was suggested that the write-up might be used by second grade teachers prior to the fall field trips. Members were reminded that the annual historical walk will take place on May 5th at 2 p.m. following the closing of the museum. Rita stated that it is important for us to establish a cemetery committee soon to investigate how we can best spend funds allocated in the budget for the cemetery improvement. The commission will be working with the town to integrate information we may receive from the people referred to us by Catherine Barth from the CPI conference. Members set up a field trip to the cemetery for April 29th at 4 p.m. to brainstorm priorities. The trip is open to all interested, whether part of the Historical Commission or another committee. Daryl McCool was present for part of our meeting and expressed an interest in the improvements to the cemetery. Wally brought up the possibility of a photo shoot with the Lafayette Fire Department. They are very interested in our driving the fire truck to their firehouse for the photo shoot, in addition to the fact that several of their members would like to view the truck. Wally asked Brian to determine with the town who could drive the fire truck over to their firehouse. Lindsay proposed having an agenda item for our next meeting involving how to prioritize items in her long-term planning document. We had hoped to have this item on today's agenda, but ran out of time due to the long agenda. New business. Staffing for the May 5th museum opening and historical walk was discussed. There will be a Boulder Heritage Roundtable meeting on May 17th. Next, the estimates received from Bonnie Blake for the reprinting of the Lost Superior book were discussed. Daryl McCool indicated that she may be able to obtain additional estimates from other companies for the reprinting. Any additional estimates anyone can obtain can be considered in our May meeting. Katie discussed the provision of historic photos for placement in the sports stable. Rita added that it is possible that the Chamber of Commerce might pay for the photos. She doesn't believe they need to come out of our budget. Brian announced that Karen Snortland is the new committee coordinator on the town staff. Karen announced that Denzel Ackland will be in town for our June museum opening. Some of his relatives have talked about Morgan about perhaps having a picnic at Asti Park following the closing of the museum that day. Karen asked that members think of possibilities for lunch in the park that day, and we will finalize plans in our May meeting. Brian announced that the Impact Sports Summer Camp History Day will be July 10th. Additional information is forthcoming. Brian also announced that Wednesday, May 23rd, is Neighbors Make the Difference Day from 1 to 5 p.m. He discussed potential volunteer projects for that day, including weeding the flower beds in Asti Park, painting the jail cell, and moving the mine cart over to the town hall area. Wally moved that the meeting be adjourned at 11:50. Katie Olson seconded the motion. Our next meeting will be May 18th.
Brian, make a lot of announcements last month.
I did, yeah. Should have been here.
Yes.
Any additions or corrections to the minutes? Motion to accept them.
I make a motion they be accepted as read.
I'll second.
Pat passing it around, huh, Wally?
I'm innocent.
Okay, I think there's a consensus on that. Okay, thanks, Karen, for taking care of that. So, Mr. Morgan?
There was a deposit of $32.00 into the fire truck restoration account, bringing it up to $385.50. $6 came from a cash donation at the April 7th museum, and $26 from the May 5th museum opening and walkthrough.
That was a good day. Thank you. Brian?
Yeah, the current balance in the historic preservation account is $4,558.
All right. Thank you, gentlemen. Okay, so there was an email this morning from Katie saying she wouldn't be able to be here today, so we have 5 present, so I guess we have a quorum, so
We've got 6.
6. 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh, and sorry, Jill. 6 counting Jill by telephone over there.
Out of sight, but
He's having a senior moment.
I have to put a little picture.
What are those anymore?
We're gonna put a picture of you on the speaker, Jill.
Yeah, we need to have a FaceTime or something. Okay, well, we've met Karen, and welcome again, Karen, to our meeting today.
Thank you.
And so on May 5th, we had a good turnout
Yes.
before the 1:30-ish time. What did we end up counting on the walk? 40?
Somewhere around 35.
35.
Oh, I thought it
I
was
thought it was
44.
40.
No, I thought it was 45.
Yeah.
You were counting too.
I'm having a senior moment too. I don't remember now.
Yeah, you're not gonna say you
Yeah,
can either, are
I
you?
think you're right.
Yeah, Mike thought so too.
Yeah, it was quite a few.
Yeah, I think that about roughly 45.
Yeah, I think
Pretty
you're
darn
I think we
close.
had 45 counting commission
Yeah.
personnel on the walk, and then prior to that, we had quite a few visitors, so I had counted 11, and I couldn't keep up with them, so altogether, we must have had around 50 people there.
Yeah.
And reactions to the historic walk from any of you?
Gets better every year, really.
Yeah, I think people really enjoyed it. They thought it was very interesting.
I think people were interested in it.
Yes, they
Yeah.
were.
Mhm. Yeah.
Interesting sidelight is that I think someone told me from the, I have a mental block about the neighborhood west of Danny's place, what it's called,
Remington at that.
Coal Creek Crossing.
Coal Creek Crossing. I think we had like 8 or 9 people just
Oh, yeah.
from Coal Creek Crossing.
Yeah.
so.
They were very interested.
Yeah.
Had a lot of questions.
A lot of them are relatively new to the area, so they were soaking up all the new information, plus a couple of them I made contact with in some other ways too, so.
We've had several
they're
of them
interested
come.
in history.
Excuse me.
Oh, sure, go ahead.
Several of them have come to the museum.
That they have, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I thought it went well.
Mhm.
Bob was able to pace himself there, huh, Bob?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Keep getting slower and slower.
It was a beautiful day too. And it
Oh,
was,
yeah.
we were treated to the flyover of the B-17 regularly.
Yeah.
So we'd be, right over the top of us, so it was an added attraction. And the choke cherries were in bloom along Cold Creek and everything, so it was just really nice.
It was a good day, yeah.
So thanks to everybody who made that work out well.
Quick item on that.
Sure.
Is it helpful to know how many people are going to be there in advance? I mean, we only had 20 people like RSVP me beforehand, and it sounds like quite a few showed up in addition. So just for like future marketing, you know, typically we put on there to RSVP me.
Mhm.
I don't know, is that necessary? Is it helpful? Or, I mean, we can.
I mean, why do you need the RSVP, Brian?
Yeah, I think, well, we've
It
done
seems
it.
like an added
Yeah,
step, doesn't it?
true. Yeah, and it kind of is, because then they have to, you know, email me, and then I don't really know how much value that's providing.
Yeah,
but,
and I was just gonna say, you know, if I'm looking to go to most things the town does, I wouldn't even think of RSVP.
Yeah, I mean,
Kind of got
it's-
started just so you get an idea of what to expect.
Yeah, with like refreshments and.
Yeah.
Well, it does make people think about committing in their mind.
True, yeah.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Yeah.
You know, once they RSVP, they're more likely not to back out.
Yeah. I'll just tell you, with kids and activities and everything else, it doesn't make a difference, guys,
Yeah.
if it doesn't work, right? I'll be honest.
Well,
Yeah. So, I mean, we can keep it on there. I think some of our marketing that went out didn't include that language, so I think that's probably what happened with a lot of people not RSVPing, but I think typically on most years, most people actually do it, and I can get you guys an accurate count, so.
Did you have it on the sign out here? I didn't drive by.
Good question.
Yeah, I'm not sure, I'm sorry, I'm not
But
sure
maybe
if it was
next
on
year,
there.
think about that, or anytime there's if we could actually put on the sign.
Yeah, I don't think I saw it, because I was looking for it
Yeah, on the
specifically.
message board, yeah.
Or even when the museum's open, does it say out there, museum open today?
I think usually,
Yeah.
doesn't it? Yeah.
Okay, all right.
Okay.
I see the sign so often now that
Mhm.
kind of like I miss it,
Yeah,
I
well-
don't see it, so.
That might be something to go back to, make sure we utilize
Yeah,
that
for sure,
message
yeah.
board, because I know we have, I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good.
Okay.
I would say if that helps the town as far as, planning for this, you want to continue the RSVP, by all means do it, but I don't care what group you're in, there's always a certain percentage of people, I'll be there, yes, I'll RSVP, they never do it and they show up and, so.
Something else
Yeah,
comes up.
but I agree, it gives you a perspective as to at least how many you think's gonna show up.
Okay, good job, everybody, on the historic walk. Hope we got all the steaks, I wasn't thinking. Looks nice.
Yep, Bob
Should
said
have,
he's
yeah.
cooked them all.
Okay.
Depending on you to do that.
That's very rare.
Moving on.
Well, on Monday night, we had the Heritage Roundtable Historic Preservation Awards featuring Karen and Wally Waligorski, who got their Square and L Award for their commitment to historic preservation over the last 20 years. So,
Well deserved, well.
Yeah.
I would like to make a comment, and Karen and I deeply appreciated it, but I want people to be aware of the fact that we also realize without all of the help we've had on the Historical Commission, the town staff, and the town board working together as a team, this would have never happened. So you deserve a lot of recognition on this as well, so thank each and every one of you.
very good, Wally. It's just always been a good team we've
Yep.
had here,
Yeah.
for sure, yeah.
Rita, will you pass that officially to the town for us?
Yes, we'll
Thank
do
you.
that, yeah.
Yeah.
I had a board meeting that night, so unfortunately, that May 14th was our
Unfortunately.
board meeting, so nobody from the board could come, but that was not because we didn't want to. so.
It was pretty well attended. I
Yeah.
got
Yeah.
some photographs from people who took photographs that evening, and I'll do those into print, right? So, I'll send those out electronically. So look for those, Bob, okay?
Nice ceremony.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah, it was a good meeting. I was, other than, the awards, they had some of the restoration that was being done was just, the private individuals or homeowners were just fantastic, I thought.
Yeah, you don't know that, those kind of slip past you until you come to something like that where they're featured, and man, gosh, there's a lot of good things happening out there, so. Well, due to the fact that, go ahead.
Oh, are we still on that?
I
This
was gonna
item?
go to the next
Oh,
one.
sorry, yeah,
It's okay.
if you remember, could you forward one of those pictures to
Oh, sure.
Melissa? Because we'll include
Oh, that's a good idea.
that information in the June town newsletter, so.
Yeah, that'd be
Good,
good.
yeah.
And that could also go in the pros.
And the president, yeah, and the
And our
pros,
bullet
yeah.
points.
And our bullet points, yeah. for
We
sure.
love photos, so.
Yeah, I
Okay.
love, yeah, so
Will do.
actually include me, Larry, on that.
Sure enough. Yeah, that's a good idea. So the next item is there was no meeting yesterday because of the meeting on.
I wondered about that. I think I put that in.
Yeah,
in
usually
here.
take the May off and then sometimes a couple more months during the summer, we'll see how that goes. Yeah, so no roundtable yesterday. No new cataloging news from the team. Anything on the oral history project?
No, I think that's just minuted to wait
It's
till
not-
July.
Yeah, it's not end of July, guys.
Okay.
This is a new spelling on July.
I'm glad it's not July. I can't, I'm not up to May yet.
It's not July, right?
Jeez, what a cop out there, Jill. Wikipedia.
I'll let you come do some of my real job and I'll go do that. It would be much more interesting.
No, thanks, I retired. Wikipedia,
You want me to ask her if she's got anything new on that?
please do, Mike.
I'm sorry, was that a question for me?
Nope.
No, that's
It's
for
going over to
Maureen.
Maureen.
Okay.
Oh, yes, Larry. I now have more time to spend on it, and I would like to look at updating your homepage within the Town of Superior website. So I'd like to make sure I have a full list of all your achievements so I can create the captions for the photo gallery. We're back to my original draft of last November. Is there anything I must add there?
Anything she needs to add to her draft from November?
I have it here with me.
We're
is that-
thinking.
Yeah, we're thinking so.
Does it differ from the handout that she gave at the April meeting for the suggestions for the town website?
Yeah, that's different. That was more of a format
Yeah.
Okay.
than the content. That's more formatting than content.
Do we suggest she works with Melissa at this point?
I think what we should do is, I mean, I'd like to take a look at it again because I hadn't looked at it for a long
Well, we do
time.
this,
Yeah.
everybody, you've got it.
Yeah.
You've got Maureen's email address, right?
Mm-hmm, yeah.
Communicate with her directly, and I'll tell her you'll be communicating with her directly via email
That'd
with
be good.
comments.
That'd be good.
How's
Yeah.
that sound?
That'd be
We're
good.
kind of hesitating because we don't know exactly what the steps are gonna be, so.
Yeah, I
Because
think.
there's a staff
yeah.
person who coordinates all the entry of that sort of material, so.
I think we are open to making, certainly I think
Yeah.
some of these would be valuable improvements to the commission's homepage. I think we can find links from that homepage to incorporate some of this and potentially photos as well. So we just have to have the
Yes,
group kind of
does
firm it up.
Larry still have my November draft, Mike? I
everybody
can
have the
send it
November draft?
electronically, and I
Yeah.
have a print copy.
I do have it, but it might be good to
If you
send it
need
to
it.
everybody once
Okay,
again to make sure
please.
that everyone knows what you
Resend.
refer. Yeah.
Yeah, just so we can find it.
To each
Mine gets buried a
Number.
lot, yeah.
Yeah. And I think it would be good if we,
to be sure they can review again and communicate comments to you directly via return email. Okay?
Sure, Larry, but that's why I did hard copy handouts in April, just in case our email
Oh, okay.
systems aren't compatible. But I'll go ahead
can
and
check,
send
right?
out an email. Let me know if somebody doesn't get it electronically. Sometimes it will go into spam, or sometimes attachments are stripped out.
I'm gonna tell her that
depending
you'll all
on
be
your
watching.
system.
right,
Right.
Yeah.
right, that's good.
We'll
They
keep an eye peeled.
all
Yeah, and I know I've got it, but it, like Rita said, it's finding it's another
Finding
thing.
it.
watching
I got thousands of emails,
Yeah.
unfortunately,
for
since November.
email.
I bet.
Not that's not no one's problem, but
Check
it's
It's
just,
just life,
it's just
in
life.
the electronic age,
Spam.
isn't it?
folders too.
And we'll
And then somehow we
Oh,
need to.
yes, then I'll start distributing next week electronically.
Okay.
Okay.
We
Yeah.
need to get a working draft that's had comments from the committee and actually start figuring out what of that can actually
Well,
go into it.
Wikipedia is necessarily going to be more voluminous than the town
Yeah.
is going to want to include, and that's not a slight,
Mhm.
but you need to say that when you email her. So in the slight, it's just, the city's going to cherry pick the things that are appropriate, am I understanding that right? For the homepage, which is a totally different format and intent than Wikipedia is.
Yeah, right.
Right,
If you'll just all communicate that with her clearly when you write her,
right.
that'll make it clear.
All
Okay?
right.
The one thing I would say, though, as the trustee here, is that, and I'd advise staff that we should keep it as close to the same as possible on Wikipedia and the website of the town. There's really no reason not to have them both
Consistent with what
consistent
they
with
share.
the, yeah. You might add a few more pictures or something on
Yeah,
Wikipedia.
Sure.
Or maybe vice versa, because the homepage for each of the committees and the commissions, behind it can be as much as we decide as a commission we want back there. There's a lot of room. It's just actually formatting it to put it on. That's it. And agreeing that the format and the words and the pictures are appropriate. And that's what the commission has to do, is agree on the format, the content, and the pictures, and then it's just submitting it, putting it on.
And I'll just kind of add a little bit to that. As far as my position goes as the committee coordinator, I am supporting all of the committees, and I am also working on all of the web pages as well to kind of look at them and make sure that there's some continuity across the board with all of the different committees. So I'll be looking at that as well.
That's good, because when I went to the first few CAPS meetings, the Cultural Arts and Public Spaces meetings, they were trying to see if they could actually have more things, because they'll want to have a lot of advertising of what, or promotion of what they're doing, and showing pictures of art, and, kind of like a revolving art and cultural kind of exhibit online.
Right.
And so then we talked about, George, we talked about the fact that you can put as much as you want behind it, each committee can, behind their
Yep.
homepage.
Yep, and
It
that's-
just, needs to be formatted, and the content needs to be provided by the committee so that the staff can
Well,
put it on.
I think having Karen Ness on board here is gonna help a lot.
Yes,
That's,
right.
that's,
And-
I think, one of the things we've had problems with is
Right.
who does what with whom and all that
Right.
sort of thing. So-
Right, there wasn't anybody coordinating, so that's great.
Yes.
Yes, very good.
The other thing, can I add something about coordinating and what you can do, Karen, is that, because I had written that down, the coordination that would be very useful here is, the one was rewriting the homepage and what the content is behind it to help get that done. Not that you have to rewrite it, but just help get it done, and the Wikipedia. And then the Cemetery Improvement Committee too, you need to go across the committees and
Yep.
get people that are interested to get on this temporary.
And already done.
Excellent, excellent, okay. Because I know I said that at a town board meeting, but I don't know if anybody hears me. I always say I have to say things 5 times.
Nope,
Not that
I-
you don't do it, but
Nope, I got that direction.
I have to say things 5 times usually before anybody
I
hears.
think that's coming up here. so,
Yes.
yeah.
Okay, and then the trailhead by the mine, the Shan property too, make sure you're connecting all of the committees, OSAC, PROSTAC, and Historical Commission, on what is required there as we build out that trailhead here on McCaslin.
How's that Shan spelled?
Well, it doesn't even matter, because we don't
Oh.
want to name it that. That's just the name of the people that owned it.
Yeah.
So it's better just to say the Superior Trailhead as opposed to the Colton Boulder County Trailhead that's down on Colton and McCaslin. There's a Colton Boulder County Trailhead
Yeah.
that's down there, and this is our Superior Trailhead. Yeah.
Okay, thanks, everybody.
Because we're not gonna name it Shan, so. A name, though, might be good, you should think about that, is there a name, I don't know, I guess the industrial mine, but but think about what should our trailhead be, because we call the other one the Colton Trailhead. the Boulder County one down there, but
Yeah,
be
there's
thinking.
Cold Creek Trailhead and all that sort of thing.
Yeah, start thinking about if there's historically would be an interesting name, and that, I'm sure CAPS will be working on that too.
Yeah, and I think OSAC is actually working on that as well. So that
Yeah.
so it can be like a collaborative.
Right, that's a
Yeah.
good thing that you're coordinating all that.
Yes, it is. Absolutely.
Maybe the coal camp,
Yeah,
it doesn't go, will it go through that
Yeah.
area at all?
yeah, just, just kind of, if something pops up in your brain when you're not even thinking about it someday, just, or try and,
So it's gonna be the trailhead, that site where that house was is gonna be the trailhead?
yep, we're gonna have
Where's the trail
parking
gonna
there.
go?
Well, around Key Bank, there's a trail.
Oh, okay.
That goes around and goes back into the Boulder County, Mayhofer, and I don't know, you can get to all that
Okay.
trailheads, those trails, I mean, they
Sounds
go.
like it wouldn't go through the mine camp then. huh?
It could though, we could have a trail from there down to the trailhead now, that's at
Yeah.
the end
That
of Second.
makes sense,
And,
yeah.
so that isn't even, do we name that? Is that named at all? Do we know?
Which,
The
which one?
Second Avenue off of there, trailhead going off to, the one that's past the mine on Second Avenue.
Well,
And
it becomes Mayhofer as soon as, at the south end of town, as soon as you start going west, and then Meadowlark as you go south.
yeah, and I don't know if we
Yeah.
need to name it after that. I'm just saying that,
Yeah.
now people park on, you go down Second Avenue
Yeah.
and then go down past the mine and park there. Well, we're trying to move that trailhead and all that traffic up here.
Oh, okay.
So you'll park here, you'll enter there, get off your bike, or get your bike, go on there, and then go past, so literally, we could go past the mine, a new trail that would go past the mine, and then, or through that, and then connect up there, where now they get off and get on the Mayhofer and Meadowlark.
Well, keep us up to date on that, Karen, and, because we'd love to coordinate with the open space committee or whomever.
And that could be a couple of years yet before
Yeah.
that gets done, but
So
still.
we just need to be thinking about it,
Right.
a name.
A
Good-
name.
Good idea.
Could I just make another suggestion, please, about the family who lived in the house that is now the museum, whether we possibly name the trail after the, I don't
Szymanski.
bother, do you know?
To have a big sign to get all the name on it.
Or Josephine Roche
sorry.
maybe
Yeah, I was
too.
thinking
Oh, I was asking
That would
about
probably be better,
the family who
the
lived
Josephine
in the
Roche
house
Trailhead
that
or
is now the
something like that,
museum.
because wasn't she?
Oh,
she's
the
the owner
elder
of
family,
mine.
the Szymanski
Right?
family.
Szymanski.
Yeah.
That was the last family that lived in there.
That's what I was kind of thinking too,
The
Rita.
Ebro family was before that, so,
Yeah, I think that would be
Just
great, instead of
looking
naming
for
after,
names, so.
yeah.
always naming things after men.
There you go.
Not that I mind that, just slightly less
So we can't
than
make it-
half of the population is male, but other than that.
We can't make it the Errol Wallagorski Trail then?
Well, that would be good. That would take a long.
Nobody'd ride on it.
Yeah, I just, in the middle of it.
All off the
Yeah.
town.
We don't have anything named after Josephine Roche, do we? I don't even think we have a Josephine Street. We talked about it once.
Yeah, I
but
think
There's so
that was
many
our-
Josephines
It was our
streets
brainstorming,
in Denver and other places already, but that might be interesting. Put that in your
It might
Caps
be.
cap.
Why don't
I
we go
wonder
to
how much-
correspondence from Karen?
side. Mhm.
W.
Okay, a thank you note was sent to Laurel Russell for her donation of the locket. And also a thank you note to Jerry Morrell for providing our spring program. And also in that thank you note was the honorarium gift of $50 that Brian got to me before the note was sent. And does anyone know of any other correspondence that needs to go out at this point? We have any other donations lately?
No.
I don't think so, okay.
I think we're good. Thank you. I passed out the cemetery this sheet again just because, well, for two reasons. One, I added one to it that Mary suggested, and then I thought if we wanted to do any scratching on there, any note-taking, there it is.
Great, thank you.
So we're number 6, April 29th field trip. That was us, huh?
Mhm.
Yeah, so I think it was good news in that everything is nice and got nice growth of grass in and around the area, and we were able to get to it relatively easily. Although, you know, you had to have your hiking boots on. I think the thing we were most shocked by was the amount of trash inside the fence.
Trash and tumbleweed.
Trash and tumbleweeds, it tumbled right in there. And then the maintenance needs on the gate, so.
And also those barriers that are.
And yeah, I'm
We have
sorry, yeah.
some wide gaps in there, places where, I didn't see any prairie dogs while we were up there, but
I didn't
there's
get
enough
that
open.
comment.
There's enough open places up in there now, if they're around, they could be in, I'm surprised they weren't in there.
Prairie dogs won't go in where they can't see past.
Yeah, but
So
there's
they're-
panels that are actually off
Yeah.
laying on the
Oh,
ground.
okay.
But what Mike was.
Where is the cemetery exactly?
Right up there.
Right on the
Behind the
other
sports
side of that
stable.
big
Right,
brown building.
right on the
there.
back side of sports, at the south end and back up on sports stable back there, so.
Okay, so from Sports Stable, if you, at the end of their building, and you go straight south, up a hill,
Yeah,
Up the hill.
Yeah.
it's right at the south end of the building, you
Oh,
go
yeah.
up the hill to the east, it's right there.
Yeah, so you can see the fence.
And you can see it
I
from
mean, I grew up
36.
here and I never knew there was a cemetery.
You
Unfortunately,
can see it from 36 too, when you're
at this
driving up
time,
and
the
down.
only way you can get up there is you have to walk, but that's in the process of changing.
Yeah,
Drive up.
okay.
So it
It's
was on
also
the,
directly across Highway 36 from the hospital.
right. There used to be an
get to it by
access
going under
36
We'll
from,
be
by
done.
the hospital, but with the US 36 reconstruction and the toll road that they put on, then they took out that single lane underpass access to it, because they just
Yeah.
didn't want to widen it to a two-lane, two-car, you know, both direction, bi-directional.
But with the development of Rock Creek, you know, they moved Joe Jaramillo's gravestone and a
Yeah.
bunch of other stuff, and
Right.
so that's why I never knew it was there.
It was on
It's right
George-
next to the Autry homestead, I'm sure. pretty
No, it
close.
was on George Menkick's property.
Yeah, no, but I'm
Yeah.
saying Autry's just one step over the lake and, you know, can't be that far
That's
for
right.
that hill, is that right?
No, it's further than that. I don't know where the Autry was. for
Autry
sure.
Lake?
Well, the Autry Lake's by the big apartment complex.
Yeah.
But, oh, the Autry, by Horizons or now Bell Flatiron?
Bellflower, yeah.
Yeah, oh, no, it's right here. It's, you
Okay.
can see it from, if you,
Okay.
you know, you used to be able to see it from the.
Yeah, all I'm
from-
saying is a lot of that south and east of there has changed a whole bunch.
Oh, that's for sure,
Right,
yeah.
right.
So, I guess.
There
we-
aren't really any prairie dogs, very many prairie dogs left out there because they actually destroyed them. The developer did 2 years ago, but some of them have come back. Not, you know, more toward the south end of the town center development itself. But prairie dogs, if they can't see past something, you know, when they're standing on the sentries can't see into someplace, they won't allow their family members to go into that area. So that's why they put the barrier up around the bottom of the fence,
And
is to
actually
keep the
gets
prairie
buried.
dogs from going in there.
It's down below the ground level too. So
Mm-hmm.
so it's an effective fence, but it needs maintenance right now because it's, Wally was saying, 3 or 4 or 5 corners are unattached and there's one whole panel that's down, so.
There's several panels that are down.
Yeah.
Yeah.
so-
Can that be part of the youth cleanup crew that works this summer?
That's what
or-
we're gonna talk about here, I think, is how we're gonna get it cleaned up, yes.
Oh, some of the stuff that's blown in the inside of the fence?
Yeah.
Yeah, oh yeah, that's, like last year, I know town staff did it before the history day. I mean, Vargas
Did you?
could help. Yeah,
Last year?
Yeah, we were up there, because it all blows to that west fence.
That's only a year's accumulation?
Yeah.
There's a lot of wind up
Yeah,
there.
pretty much, yeah, that's what, yeah.
Yeah.
That's windy up
amazing.
there. All the construction.
Yeah, that adds to it.
Even that crazy windstorm, that was a couple weeks ago too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, we can certainly take care of that, whether it's town staff or
Think so?
Vargas, yeah. I mean, I haven't been up there to look specifically.
I can also talk with Kevin about a volunteer
Oh, yeah.
project.
For sure, yeah.
Kevin Colon, who is
Yeah.
our, so I'll talk with him.
Yeah, that'd be good.
But I
We should
think we
have-
also had in there that gate needs to be looked at.
Yeah.
For some reason, it's really hard to slide that over the top of that concrete that's been poured, which needs to be in there. And, well, I had a heck of a time getting it to mesh together. But there's a, what is that one lower lock that's on there? It's like a deadbolt, and that's out. And it's like you almost have to try and get the two gates to come together so that deadbolt will snap in. And I don't know if we have a key for that deadbolt, and we can eliminate that altogether because we have a padlock on it.
Now, that's why those first three items are, I think, the most immediate needs.
Yeah.
That's one of them, and to the gate maintenance. Yeah, so there's an actual lock in the gate, that's what Wally's talking about, but we don't use it because we use the combination lock, so maybe it's.
Brian, we need to add, I think, and I'll bring this up to the board, but we should add the cemetery in as part of one of the parks that we actually maintain every year. Not this year, but starting in next year. We should make it a regular part of the maintenance of the parks, you know, like by, what, can't think of their names now, the people that do all the parks. Vargas, yeah. We definitely need to, as the residential builds out up there, people are either gonna break in there or, you know, want to go in there, so we might as well just make it a park and have it regularly looked at.
Yeah, I think that kind of spills into that working group and discussions, that kind of the big picture visionary, like ultimately what does, you know, what's it gonna look like up there as far as like an active type of site or more passive, right, Karen? I mean, you can kind of speak more to like.
Yeah, and just communicating with Patrick about this project and kind of talking it through, just like what Brian said. I think the temporary working group, once we are established and we know who's on the group and we sit and we meet, we can kind of discuss those things and put down those priorities, talk about big picture, whether we want it to be an active location or a passive location, what kind of signage would be up there, and also working on, you know, these immediate needs. So I think the sooner we get that committee together and meeting, the sooner we can start, you know, knocking off these priorities.
I think our priorities are to establish that committee and then deal with the trash and the fence maintenance.
Yeah, those immediate needs can
Yes.
almost be like a separate item from like this, you know, that obviously the budgeted work for this year.
Sure.
But in addition to what Karen was saying though, like she's been at the last few committee meetings and there's already like a few people interested in being a part of this working group, so, right Karen? Like,
yes. Yep, so I've spent the month of May kind of attending all of the committee meetings to get to know everyone. And at the OSAC meeting, there was one or two people that were, and I have all the names written down in my office, that were interested. ACES unfortunately didn't have enough people at their meeting to discuss that, but it was on their agenda, and they are all aware that they can be a part of it if they're interested. ProStack didn't have, they had a really lengthy agenda that night, so it was mentioned, and anyone that's interested is going to email me. And then CAPS, we obviously have Daryl, who's very interested.
Well, do you want? Are you gonna be the person forming the committee then?
Yes. So I will be the person spearheading this project, so we can kind of get together and decide. Larry, you and I can maybe kind of talk and decide when we want to meet, and then I can send out all that correspondence to those folks.
And then obviously then we would update the group, you know, at the following commission meetings, so you guys are aware of what's going on. But
yep.
That's kind of.
And anybody who wants to get involved can.
Yep, absolutely.
Yeah.
Okay. So you're going to do that, and you're going to coordinate the cleanup.
Yeah.
But then we have to have actually some expenditure to work on that.
Yeah. Let me actually go. It's hard to speak on this. I haven't been up there lately. Let me actually go up there and take a look at these items, and then kind of go.
Some of those things are just going to be as simple as screwing the sheet metal screw.
Yeah.
Screwing it back in.
Right.
Yeah, it depends on how big it blew the hole where the screws were, and if you can use the same holes, or they might be able to use a washer or something on it.
Yeah, that would be a good idea, maybe a washer.
Okay, so.
And I just would make a comment about when on the backside you talk about paths and EDA and stuff. I think cemeteries have a free pass kind of on ADA requirements, because it's hard to actually have pass that wheelchairs can go on to every, to a gravesite,
Right.
especially
Yeah, that
old
makes sense.
historical ones. So check into that.
Yeah.
If there's really requirements for ADA, if
Yeah.
ADA requirements are applicable to a cemetery. Now, I think a path around the cemetery that a walker and or wheelchairs can get on might be a good idea.
And we're
But
just trying
not
to be
through,
sensitive
yeah,
to that
nothing,
whole thing.
nothing major, because you can't make it ADA. You can't make cemeteries.
So, sure.
One of the things they could possibly do on the pads, if you want to get a wheelchair in there, we have to think if this is what we want to do, is use what they call road base. And that stuff will pack down and it can get like concrete. So maybe as they're installing it, they could, I don't know if they could roll it or tamp it somehow. And that you can roll a wheelchair around on it, and it'd be almost like rolling it on top of this table, so to speak.
Right, right. Or if nothing else, just have a concrete path at the front kind of, and then the rest is, at your own. At least they could get into it and view it. Yeah, that's good.
I think that's something we can take up with the committee, huh?
Yeah.
Working group.
Working group. That new euphemism for committee.
That's good, yeah.
Temporary or.
Temporary working group, yep, working group.
Well, next
Time
item-
limited.
Next item on the
I've been to a
agenda
lot of
is the,
cemeteries, I'm a history nut, and there's nothing down the pass. You've got to give access to the cemetery, like if you go to Arlington, there's ADA requirements at the parking areas and all that. Nothing in the cemetery.
Right, sure. Yeah, because it
And
would be.
Cheatham, same way.
Yeah.
I've been to, I don't know, a dozen of them, maybe more. So
That's
I'll
very-
bet that's what you find when you check it
Yeah.
out.
well,
You've
that's
got to
what,
give access to the gate.
But that's it, yeah, out of the parking, if you have parking spaces and all
and
that.
we were
which
thinking
we
about parking places,
allowed,
spaces being
And we may
handicap
want to leave
reserved.
ours that way on the inside. I'm not saying we need to
Yeah,
put
yeah.
that.
Which is, yeah, that's right, it
That's
looks
okay.
original then,
That's right.
historically original, more original
so.
than, yeah. Okay.
Next item on the agenda is the reprinting of the Lost Superior book. So to refresh your memories, the rate was, for 250 books, would be $19 plus each, 500 books, call it $14 each. And then $985 for 1,000 maps. And
This was Bonnie's.
this was Bonnie's quote, yeah. I have not done anything more on this, and I don't know if there's someone else who'd like to kind of take a handoff on this or whatever. Maybe Jill could. You're not doing anything else, huh, Jill?
I told you, you take some of my work, I'm happy.
Oh, man.
What's the deal?
So I had an email from Bonnie just a couple days ago, anything new, and I don't have anything new to tell her, so our choices are to shop around, and I don't know how to do that, I guess is what I'm saying,
Well-
or put it in the budget for next year.
Well, Larry, I thought Daryl McCool sounded really interested in doing some shopping around for us last month. What do you think?
I think she did.
And she was going to perhaps get hold of Jerry Morrell's company, and which she said she's done business with them before. But I thought she sounded really keen, so I'm wondering if you got hold of her, if maybe she'd pick up that and
Yeah, we thought she was gonna get hold of you, so I'm not sure what.
Yeah, so that didn't
what
happen
happened there.
either, so.
And so that could give us two sources right in there, so we maybe give them a chance for a little bit. Yeah,
Yeah.
I agree. It is
But
what
otherwise,
it
I was impressed by the lady, Bonnie?
Yes.
Yeah. I was impressed by what she presented to us that day.
Yeah, I
liked
think,
her. Her estimates seemed reasonable.
well, again, at $14 a book, seems
Yeah.
kind of high,
Well,
but I don't have any frame of reference exactly, so.
Well, you ask Daryl, because she does that kind
I'll
of stuff.
guess I'll
Works
follow
with
up
that
and
every
talk,
day.
email Daryl.
Mhm.
Okay, so,
we're not in that,
Otherwise-
we're not in that kind of a rush on this. I mean, obviously we want to get it going, but
yeah, I can see the end of the supply is in sight. So,
yeah, but
So I'll tell Bonnie to hang on.
Mhm.
Historic photos at Sports Stable, not Stable Sports.
There's no S on sport. Yeah, so Karen and I are actually working with Katie and the chamber on this. Katie has some pricing, at least from her, from Maps and Prints, and we're just trying to sync up with her on kind of brainstorming that out a little bit as far as the arrangement as well. So I think we're going to try to meet next week, and then I think the plan from there is then Heather's very open to this. She's going to reach out to, once we kind of have an idea on the pricing, and she's going to reach out and communicate with businesses, chamber businesses, and see if they're interested in sponsoring a particular photo, and how much would they be willing to contribute or pay for that, and then include like a placard or whatnot, essentially, next to it. So that's kind of where we're at. It's moving forward, and we're just trying to get things firmed up right now. So.
That's excellent, thank you.
Yeah. Did, oh, go ahead, Dave.
Is there a surviving photograph of the post office in Superior? I just wondered if that might provide some interest to people, as there isn't a post office in Superior.
There is
at the
one,
moment. So I just wondered if that maybe one of the old post office.
Is Katie and others have talked about how many and what the subject would be?
Yeah, that's kind of what I think next week's meeting is going to be. I'll dive in a little bit more now that we have pricing and sizes and figure out the actual arrangement. Looking at the wall, we're kind of zeroing in on that wall on the second floor near our offices. There's a lot of traffic through there. I know it's kind of hard to visualize, but
There's,
above the West Rink there. That long wall.
Okay.
Are you just restricting it to photos, Brian? The reason I'm saying is, you got some nice placards over there talking about the Josephine Roach and Miss Orman and the Dust Bowl and that type of thing. If they could be more exposed, I think, to traffic, I don't know, that would...
So what are those? I'm sorry.
Well, there are exhibits, and they're on about...
I don't know, have you been to the
I
museum?
haven't yet.
Yeah.
I need
it's
to do
about
that.
2.5 by 3.
The placards is a
Maybe
big
they
enough
could
for the open.
shrink them
when
down a
the
little
museums
bit
are-
or
well,
something, I don't know.
Or maybe just have a temporary place and rotate those in and
Yeah,
out.
yeah.
Just have
sure.
one spot. That's a good idea, Bob.
Yeah, we can.
We can look at all of that, yeah.
We call them exhibits, but since we have such shortage of exhibit space, what they are is a big poster board. They're very professionally done by our volunteer Alan Jarrett, who still has something on Fridays, apparently, a dance class or something. But that's, now that'd have to be something, well, we're not there yet, but that'd have something to be protected behind glass
Oh,
or
yeah.
something.
Oh,
so-
yeah, sure,
which would be
definitely,
pretty big. Or maybe do an abridged version or something like that.
Or even like a plexiglass, you know, it wouldn't have to be framed, just a plexiglass thing that we could slide something in and out.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, and then, make so you can slide in and out and change it regularly, huh?
Like I wrote that down.
Yeah, okay.
We'll talk about that, yeah, with Katie.
Right up.
Kind of like our advertising or notice board out here, out by the front door here, is glass.
Yeah.
Right
Oh,
outside where we
right.
put in
Yep.
all of our, you have to put in all your notices of meetings and everything. You could do something like that.
You sure could.
Yeah.
Excellent. Well, Lindsay isn't here, so I guess we won't be doing the number 9. And Bob and Karen W., anything new on the appearance?
Well,
Announced
first of
appearance
all,
Denzel Ackland.
Karen, I don't know, Denzel Ackland here
Return.
was a resident of the old mine camp, and then he was a member of this commission for 15
Technically,
years,
he still is,
whatever,
he's a
anyway.
lifetime member
So he's
now,
very
so.
active, and so, but he moved down to Oklahoma. He's coming back, or let me put it this way, he was planning on coming back. I got a call from him yesterday, and he's pretty well stoved up with back problems.
Oh.
And he's got some spurs, whatever. So he says, I'm not sure whether I'll make it or not, but he'll let us know.
Right.
So that's, But
That's
Karen
only a
and,
couple of weeks. If it
pardon?
happens. It's only 2 or 3 weeks.
Yeah,
from now, too.
yeah. So, you're trying to do something to get straightened out anyway.
Yeah.
But we're thinking about catering, right, Karen?
Yeah, Jane Morgan and I kind of brainstormed this one day while we were waiting for Bob and Larry and Wally to do their walk, put the stakes in. Anyway, we started thinking about this and thought that having a potluck in that park was not going to be really feasible because we'd all be tied up in the museum and then we're going into the park to have a picnic and trying to keep food during that time and so forth. So we decided maybe it'd be best to just have something brought in, either catered or whatever. But I think we're gonna have to play this by ear.
Right now?
Yeah, right now, until we know that Denzel's coming for sure.
Mhm.
And then once we know he's coming, watch your emails, because I'll be emailing something out, and if we have it catered, we're gonna need an exact head count, not just those that think they might show up or whatever, you know, the kind of thing that happens sometimes, but
Tell
anyway,
them-
we'll
tell them
need a
which
little
one you're
bit more
thinking about.
firmer, pardon?
Tell them which one you're thinking about doing.
Well, Panera Bread was one of
Yeah.
them. The other, there's, you know, we're open to suggestions. There's also having pizza brought in or,
Firehouse Subs, we get them a lot of times for the town board meeting. They'll, Firehouse
Who's
Subs,
that?
right
Firehouse
across here,
Subs.
Firehouse
Oh.
Subs.
Yeah.
They make the sandwiches up and they'll bring
Yeah,
us
I've
little
seen what
salads
they-
and
yeah.
everything and then, and cookies
Okay.
and
Yeah.
that, and they're very accommodating.
Yeah, and that's
those.
Okay.
definitely another option.
Yeah,
yeah, okay.
yeah, and that's right in town too, so right across the street, basically.
And so another aspect of the problem is if we're open until 2 o'clock, it wouldn't have until after 2 o'clock, right? So that's
Right,
another
yeah.
Mhm.
problem, having
Yeah.
stuff, having your potato salad sit around for a couple of, 4 hours or something.
Yeah, that
Well,
was why
anybody
Jane
could
and I
deliver it
didn't
at
think it
any
was
time you
feasible.
wanted.
I was thinking of if we did a
Potluck, yeah.
So that's why,
Right.
because we'd probably all rather do homemade potlucks.
Mhm.
Now, we could do a potluck if we did it a different day, but there again, it's very dependent on when Denzel is here and,
And this is supposed to be a surprise for Denzel too.
Well,
Trying to be,
I
yeah.
believe that's what Bob said, yeah, so.
Oh, I'm
Yeah.
lazy enough, I like the idea of the catering anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
What'd you say, Mary?
I said I'm lazy enough, I
Oh.
like the idea of catering.
we all like that.
No, we all have enough going on if we don't have time.
Oh,
There you go.
okay.
Say it that way.
Thank you.
Okay, so we'll just be on our toes about,
Yeah, anyway, watch your emails, because we'll email everybody once we know something is really happening.
yeah. Okay.
And that's
I
in
hope
the
it
next
happens.
couple of weeks, so,
Yes.
Yeah, he wanted to be there when the museum is open, he said he was
yeah,
gonna try.
yeah.
So I
Okay,
guess everything's up to his back, I guess, right now.
okay.
You said Betty isn't planning on coming.
Yeah,
is that right?
yeah.
No, she made it quite clear she wanted him to come.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
she
Betty
has some
wouldn't
peace
want
and
to.
quiet. I heard her say it over the phone, she yelled it in the background. But if he's not feeling good, I
Yeah,
understand.
sure enough. Okay, the History Day, Summer Camp History Day, I guess that's gonna be a reprise of what we did
Yeah,
last year, huh?
so yeah, just another quick, more of a date reminder on that. I think we'll have a firmer time at the June meeting for once that camp gets started. But yeah, just, you know, they do a weekly field trip as part of that summer-long camp. And then that particular day or that week, on the 10th, they'll do the cemetery, Grasso Park, Asti Park, kind of walking field trip. So I think whatever we did last year worked great. I had a couple people up at the cemetery, or I guess at each location. So if you guys are interested in helping out again with that this year, that would.
How many kids did we have last time? Was it like 20 or something?
Yeah, I think it was right. Yeah, 20.
Yeah,
It might be a little more this year because I know that camp's become a little bit more popular, but.
Last year was the first time you had it? or
Mhm,
have you-
yeah.
That's what I thought, yeah.
Yeah, because it's really a sports stable
Yeah, it's
and
like.
the town?
Yeah, we kind
Just
of,
sports stable.
yeah, it's kind of a partnership between the town and Impact Sports with their
Impact
summer
Sports,
camp,
yeah,
yeah, just
right.
helping out with their weekly field trips and more so last year.
So just to refresh our memories, so we can kind of plan ahead.
Yeah.
So we pretty much did what we do for a second grade field trip, and then they just hung around in the park and.
Yeah, it
had
was,
lunch
yeah,
there or
so
something
that they
like
walked from the sports stable up to the cemetery. I remember you were there. Patrick was actually there as well. Give him a little briefing and history on the cemetery, and then let him walk around and kind of did like a fun, not scavenger hunt thing, but they were up there for a while, and then it takes them a while to walk down to Grasso Park.
Cemeteries first.
The jail cell open. And so they spend a little time at Grasso Park, and then lastly they go to Asti, have the fire truck out there, and they eat lunch following that. So
And then they gotta walk back to,
then they gotta walk back.
they got a lot of steps there.
They're young, they can handle it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was funny. Some of them were going, do we have to walk?
So we
Okay.
can, yeah, if you guys can let me know if you're interested, we can firm it up at the June meeting, but certainly we appreciate you guys taking some time.
So July 10th. So
July
what's the
10th,
date?
yeah.
What day of the week is it?
I think the 10th.
That's our working date now, so it might change, or?
No, the date won't change.
Okay.
The date won't change, yeah. July 10th is a Tuesday.
Misunderstood that. Tuesday, huh?
Yeah.
Okay. We'll stay on alert. Well, what's number 12 there, Brian?
Yeah, one more quick item. I brought this up last month as well, but Kevin Cologne's organizing a volunteer event, Neighbors Make the Difference Day. It's Key Bank volunteers. They're going to be doing, yeah, so that's next Wednesday, the 23rd at 1 o'clock. And they're starting at the museum. And I know I mentioned, I don't know if Bob, you said you might be interested, but I know Kevin would really appreciate it if there's one or two commission members there just to give like a little kind of history of thank you and a little history on the town, a little briefing before they start their volunteer work. So
And they're gonna meet there at the
yeah, they're gonna,
museum?
yeah. So I guess there's no really time commitment except for if a couple of you are able to be there at 1 o'clock next Wednesday.
Just do a general
That's
orientation.
Just a general orientation. Like I said, they're Asti Park, and then I think they're gonna paint the jail cell. I think those are the two main projects for next.
They're gonna paint the jail cell?
Yeah, next Wednesday, yeah.
Oh.
So,
And what other project are they gonna do?
I think there's some landscaping, right? Landscaping, flower bed stuff at Asti Park, and
Oh,
and
nice.
then move on to the jail cell.
Okay, I'd be happy to do that.
Awesome.
Try and be over.
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
That'd be great, yeah.
Don't need to go out of your way, Bob, because it doesn't sound like it's gonna take too much time, so.
Well, let's see, Wednesday, at 1 o'clock, I can do that. I gotta go to therapy at 10 o'clock.
I'll try and make it. I don't have any idea what all I'm gonna have going on.
Yeah.
If I'm free.
When's that sprinkler time? Oh.
Yeah.
Okay. Key Bank, so, a couple of years ago, a few years ago, they had a field trip. They came down and toured around
Oh,
and showed
really?
him around.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, that was kind of interesting. Photo shoot, Wally? Shoot, Wally?
Yeah, shooting. I don't know if you've seen that. Well, you probably haven't seen our fire truck. We have a 42
I've heard lots about it.
600-gallon pumper, and originally it was belonged to Lafayette. And when did we purchase that from them? In the
Early 70s or something like that, yeah.
Mid-70s, and used it up until
Early 80s.
in the 80s, somewhere is in there. And then it sat for a lot of years, and we restored it. And so the people from Lafayette they have a photo of it when they first got it, or in the 60s maybe, sitting in front of their firehouse with their 1926 fire truck. And they would like for us to come back over and do a photo shoot with them, but they've also said they may still have like the ladder that was on it, and they have, hose nozzles that they might be willing to get, and that's the big ones that they, and some other stuff. So anyhow, that's what this photo shoot is about. And we have to get it somehow from here to over there, which is not a big deal, but It's gonna be up to the town how we do that.
Yeah, if I could real quick add on that, I talked to Matt Rarick, so certainly one of you, whether it's you or Larry, could drive it over there. Regardless, we'll have a town vehicle. Regardless, it's safer to have a town vehicle like follow behind it. But we can get it over there. It's running fine now. If you guys want to drive it, one of you, on that particular day, that's okay. But Matt said, I mean, certainly you're gonna drive a little bit faster, and if you don't feel as comfortable driving it, Matt is more than willing to. So.
The vehicle, town vehicle have the four-way flashers going.
Yeah, behind it, yeah. I mean, it's kind of like what me and Matt did last year to get it back from Denver. But more or less, we just need maybe a couple date options, you know.
And I guess you need to contact Lafayette.
Yeah, and he's aware that it's gonna be over there a little while.
Yeah, I guess that's a good question.
A lot of
yeah.
the Lafayette Fire Department, didn't they wanna spend some time looking at it? They've got a lot of their.
Who did
More
you
than
say
a
I
day,
should
you're saying more
contact?
than a day?
Oh, no, I just meant, what,
Well,
2 or 3 hours.
Oh,
or
they
something
were
is what I
that
meant.
guy that came over that day, whose name I can't remember.
Yeah, well, that was, yeah, he was the
Bill
retired
Kellogg
fire
or
marshal.
something.
And then there was Jerry, who was the retired fire chief, so.
Yeah,
I'll have to see if I can find the other guy's name.
I think I might have it in my email
Okay.
category.
But we'll have to coordinate when it's gonna work and
Yeah.
when it's gonna be, I don't know.
Yeah, and every time I mention the fire truck around Jerry's, we want that back.
No, they don't get that.
Yeah.
Oh, no.
That's-
So just a side note on that, before I started working here, I worked for the city of Lafayette for
Oh, really?
8.5, almost 9 years.
Okay.
And Jerry was one of my fitness instructors
Oh.
at the recreation center, so I know Jerry very well. He made me a picture of the Flatirons for my house when I left Lafayette.
Oh, really?
So
Great.
I have his work in my house.
That's very good.
So,
Okay, well, we'll try to figure out who to contact over there then. So in the other old business, just a real quick question, did we have the neighborhood drop? Did we do that? Was it done? Was our
I think
flyer in it?
Katie, yeah, I guess Katie could probably speak more to that. I imagine it went out in April, yeah, almost certain it should have.
It didn't, you know, like they do it in what, 3 different
Sections,
yeah.
sections, and so we didn't get one in our section.
Yeah,
No.
we wouldn't have gotten
Yeah.
one up at where we are.
Okay.
I've got another other, but I'm not
so do
sure.
I.
Oh, okay. Oh, good, you get others.
Yeah, that was.
Go ahead, I have a couple more too, go ahead, Mary.
Okay, I don't know if it's old business or new, but the orange, whatever it is up at Grasso Park, that orange, one of the farm equipment guys,
Oh, the combine,
the orange combine.
the George Cuffin Memorial Combine?
Yeah, we have talked through the years how it's not really
Yes.
appropriate there. And perhaps now we could more diplomatically see about getting rid of it.
Yeah,
Okay,
you're right.
good idea.
Uh-huh.
So I just wanted to sort of bring that.
That's good.
Where would we take it? How do you recycle an old combine, I guess?
I don't know.
Possibly the thing would
Can
be.
you do some research into that?
Yeah,
Like, can we dump it up at Erie at the dump or something? I don't know, you know? I mean, they'll take anything up there, I can't believe it.
Unless you get a hold of George
Leo?
Leo
He went through there.
He was just
half
here.
hour. Yeah, he was just here, yeah.
and ask him if he would know anything. Well, it's a delicate issue because George Kuffner brought that over, and of course, since then, George here not too long ago passed away, but we've been pretty concerned what to do with it because we haven't wanted to step on any toes.
Yeah. I wonder how
But
George
George
Leo
just went
was.
over, got it one day, and all of a sudden it appeared over here.
So has the state still got the title? Just
Oh,
curious.
this is a piece
Oh.
of farm equipment.
It doesn't work,
No,
you know, it's
and,
just an old.
Well, I understand
yeah.
that, but ownership vests somehow, even in farm equipment.
Well,
so-
there's somebody that George knew over on Dillon Road.
Oh,
that-
okay.
Yeah, it wasn't
Take
George's,
this-
he went and got it from somebody
Yeah,
hauled
so
over
it's,
here with his truck.
I don't think there's any
Dumped it.
Yeah.
ownership deed.
No, apparently not.
No paperwork with
No
it.
paper.
No paperwork.
I think we still need to be a little bit delicate with it because I don't want to offend the family and maybe they don't care, but
They probably don't care, but the bigger issue for me is where do we take it, you know, to get it out of here?
Maybe George Leo could
Yeah.
take it over to his compound.
That's actually
Yeah.
probably.
Well, that's a good idea, maybe
That's
when you
I'll
take it.
anything.
Yeah.
That's probably realistic.
Okay, so,
But if we take it someplace other than possibly George, then we're gonna have to, I'm sure, we're gonna incur hauling fees, which may or may not be a big issue. I have no idea.
yeah. Well, George is our maintenance department, so.
I'm almost certain that he would
course.
take it, because if he doesn't recycle.
How do we approach this then? Somebody want to approach, is that me? Or somebody from town?
I think somebody from town should ask about it.
Yeah, it's on town
Have-
property.
Have
Yeah.
Matt or
It is.
Patrick, or Martin, I mean, or Patrick maybe, whoever would be appropriate. That we
Good idea, Mary.
really, it was never intended as a permanent display there, and it wasn't actually part of what happened here in this part of
Mission
the,
and that
in this
sort of
area,
mission
yeah.
Actually, it came in after the park was established. if
Yeah.
I
Right.
remember right.
Yeah.
And so, and it's kind of dangerous for the kids, and that would be another reason
That's
for
a
us to
good
get
point
rid of.
there, yeah.
Good
It's-
point.
It's dangerous.
Well,
They want to crawl on it, and it's really
They're all
not.
dangerous.
Yeah, they're all dangerous. So we don't need an extra dangerous thing there.
Yeah.
No.
I think,
Maybe perhaps it might, I have sort of two ideas, whether they, Boulder County, they have this farm on the way to hygiene. But also maybe somebody at the Doherty Museum might know of, they have this special day when there's quite a lot of farm equipment that is working.
yeah, they
I was wondering if they might have a contact with somebody who would be at all interested in restoring it as a long-term project.
The Doherty Museum is now part of Boulder County as well, so
Okay.
it would
Oh,
just
it
be
is?
one phone call. I believe so.
do.
It's part of Boulder County?
Yes, I think it's part of the Boulder County Museums now.
Really?
Oh.
I never even thought about the Dorney. We could maybe make a trip over there someday and see if they talk to them and ask if they'd even consider it.
Yeah,
A lot of places, even by the airport,
Yeah.
Denver International Airport, they have, they've just lined up old equipment, kind of like a display kind of a thing, but yeah, you have to move it someplace.
Okay, well, let's,
They
Well,
might have-
before you leave, I'm not sure if this is the place to bring it up, but I was looking at the coal cars over there. I think we need another coating of linseed oil.
I think so. I was looking at it, I thought it looked pretty good, I guess. I have low standards.
And I was glad to come over and somebody unload it and
Well,
the city would give
We'll
us
come
some
back to you, Dave.
linseed oil. I'll be.
Well, let's see about the move first then, Bob.
Yeah.
Are you talking about the one at the old Prince?
Well, yeah, that's what I was looking at.
This
I don't
one,
know about the other one. I haven't looked at it for a while.
Yeah, so the cart will, should be getting moved here shortly. Let me chat with Kevin. I don't know if that's it could be a potential volunteer project, or we could just take
Okay,
care of it.
yeah, okay.
So,
Yeah, there's nothing to it once you get it unloaded. And
yeah.
The false bottom looks like it's in good shape, from what I can see. But,
Yeah, okay, let's see when it's gonna get moved, Bob, then we can coordinate.
Sure.
To both of them one day or something, or get some scouts or some volunteer.
Well, yeah,
personnel
because
out there too. Mostly just get those
Yeah.
that slag out of there.
Oh, boy, I couldn't lift any of that stuff.
David had one other thing, I think.
I just, I was wondering with the Doherty Museum, they have at least one weekend of the year when they have working demonstrations of agricultural equipment. I'm just wondering if they might have a contact with one of the owners or several of the owners of some of this equipment.
You might want to restore it,
Yeah.
take it and restore it.
Yeah.
One of them might be interested in it and taking it off our hands. It would be really nice if it could be cherished by somebody rather than just end up on the scrap heap.
Well, I'll give Doherty a call. Okay, I had mine car move is on my other list, so it sounds like we did that. And then also, we've had some problems with our signs, our interpretive signs, for example, the Autry sign is gone and. I don't
Actually
know.
stole, gone?
Yeah, it's gone. I don't know if town staff got it or not, because a lot of times town staff will go through and find it on the ground or something, so So, you know, and the one by this, mine car is gone. So, we've got just a reminder that we've had some problems with those signs, keep separating, and the town folks glue them back together again, but then get weather and windstorms come along and they're not there anymore. So I don't know if that
Yeah.
Atrium is clear gone, or if someone's found it. Because one day I found that one over at Aston Park, I think Matt Rary
Yeah.
got a hold of it, so before it blew away.
Yeah, I got it down here, and
Okay.
I'll touch base with Matt on that. So.
Very good. Any other old business?
Well, so there was another, just a part of my job that I kind of wanted to talk with all of you about and let you know. So in order to, in my supervising of all of the different committees and attending the meetings, I've been letting all of the different committees and commissions know that I'm actually working on a survey that will be going out at the 1st of June to all the commission members, staff liaisons, and potentially to all board liaisons, that kind of will just be going over the effectiveness, what you feel the effectiveness of the advisory committees are, your satisfaction level in serving on a committee, and then also talking about our appointment and recruitment process and trying to get new members on the different committees. And I'm going to utilize the feedback that I get in that survey to put together sort of a commission and committees manual that will go out. And then in another part of my job is to kind of put together an official onboarding process. So when we have a new member coming onto a commission, they'll kind of go through an onboarding process with some training around how we run our committees here in the town of Superior, so that they kind of have a better feel for what they're going to be doing, you know, as a committee member. So I want, the survey is going to be sent out electronically. We will also have paper copies. So if you have electronic access but don't feel like filling it out electronically, or don't have electronic access, we will definitely have paper copies of that survey. And then I will just enter that information in, so that once I get all the information back, we will share it in a report with all of the committees. And then as I move forward in putting together some processes and guidelines across the boards for all committees, it will be coming directly from the results of that survey, and you will be able to see those results. So that's just something that I want you to be aware of, that it will be coming out.
It'll be coming, huh?
Yes, it will be coming out. We were working on it yesterday, and it looked like it would take maybe 10 to 12 minutes to kind of fill it out. It's interesting how these survey programs work. They actually tell you how long it will take people to fill it out. So it's been quite interesting putting it together. And I'm very interested in finding out the feedback from the committees. So I do want you to take a few minutes to fill it out honestly, and give me some good feedback that I can utilize in this process.
You want your electronic?
Can I pick up a paper copy from, I don't have it.
Yes, absolutely, absolutely.
So,
we'll make sure we get it to you, to anyone. Yes.
Well, I can, pick one up from your office.
Sure, absolutely. You know where we're at.
Whenever you have it ready. Yes. I'm the oddball in the group, I guess.
Are you still getting a paper copy of the?
No, I haven't got one for a while. I guess it dropped me off the mailing list, which is.
Something
yeah.
happened to the pigeon.
So, and then
Ended up with somebody's soup.
Brian,
Yeah.
did you have something else to bring up?
Oh, yeah, I was gonna actually bring it up in new business.
Okay,
But,
okay, good. I know I was responsible for reminding him, so.
Yeah, that's fine.
I want to make sure I did that.
You want to wait till it comes up? Or?
I can easily bring it up right now. All right, yeah, it won't take that.
We're going to new business, everybody.
Yeah, let's just go to new business, and then.
Oh, okay.
I'll bring it up at the end.
Okay.
Yeah. don't worry.
Staffing
I'll try and be there.
for June 2nd,
Should be able to.
Bob Cartwright's,
All the Gorskys.
Wally's.
I was waiting for
Larry.
you to.
So that's for sure, and then hopefully some of the other people will be there, especially if we have our
Yeah.
Denzel Ackland
Picnic.
Appreciation Day. Okay, so I'll go to the next roundtable meeting, ANFRAM meeting is gonna be with.
Larry, before you leave, the roundtable meeting, where's that held again?
It's in the Boulder Public Library now, the main library.
Oh, down the main library?
Yeah.
Oh, have they moved it then?
Yeah, we've been meeting in City of Boulder facilities for the last few years. And so now it's in the library. Unfortunately, they moved it from the Mustard's Last Stand building because that gave me a good excuse to make Mustard's Last Stand hot dog.
Yeah, get you a hot dog.
No, we can still coordinate that. Have to walk a little farther. You know, the Museum of Boulder has been remodeling, refitting the old Masonic Lodge at Pine and Broadway. And that's now the Museum of Boulder, and I think they're having a grand opening this month. Maybe might even be tomorrow. So ANFRAM's gonna have a meeting there in June. So once we get the scoop on that, we'll share it with everybody. And ANFRAM's Association of Northern Front Range Museums.
Excellent,
So
thank you.
We are a member of that. And by the way, it's looking ahead, maybe in 2019, we ought to do a hosting again.
I think so, it's time.
So number 4 is bullet points due June 5th.
Yeah, just real quick, just so, and Karen can speak real quick on it too, but yeah, just so each month for the Parks and Rec Department newsletter that we email out, we're getting bullet points of projects that each committee's working on, like just 3 or 4 bullet points. So I worked with Mary and Larry for the May bullet points, so that just went out, and Karen kind of organizes this, so we'll just need, we can kind of expand on that list, or if there's new,
Did everybody get
new
it?
projects, yeah.
Last few days?
Yeah,
Did you get it?
I think it just went out,
It went out Wednesday.
Wednesday, yeah.
Yep. And
So,
just the kind of the idea behind that is one thing in doing my research and starting my new position here, I just kind of realized that the community is not very aware of what our committees are doing. And as a part of my recruitment process, I think it's very important that the community has a better idea of what our committees are doing. Now, I know that you guys do put quite a nice article in the Sentinel, which is fantastic. But in order to get, do some celebration of different projects that the committees are working on, I felt that there was a need to get it out there into the community. And so this is a small way to start to get that out there. I've had great feedback on it already, and it just went out on Wednesday. So I feel like it's a really good idea. And as a part of the recruitment process, when people see what projects are out there or what we're doing in our different committees, it might spark some interest for people to join committees or to help volunteering on different projects or things. So it's just kind of a small way for me to celebrate your wins and let the community know.
So what are we supposed to do next on number 4 then? Just
yeah, so really, so yeah, you could just, since I think that's probably the most efficient way, just need bullet points emailed to me, 3 or 4 of them by the 5th. Okay. And again, it could be, some of them can be repeats from May. It's kind of led by, I guess, you guys in a way, what you'd like to highlight, so.
Okay.
So it's the 5th of each month?
Yeah, by the
Yes.
5th of each month.
Oh, okay, that's good.
Yeah, sorry, yeah, by the 5th.
That's good. And then, what about number 5, Brian, budget project?
Yeah, well, Larry, I know you had a couple potential project ideas for this year yet, so there's roughly $4,600 left in the preservation account, and I figure if I'm gonna get a couple estimates on potential projects, maybe
Okay.
Larry, if you wanna speak to that for the group.
Yeah, I thought one project, I might have 3 now. One project would be we did the back porch last year. We had to rebuild, Pedro had to rebuild the whole under frame. I'd like to redo the front porch, but I think all we need to do on the front porch is just the floorboards. I think the underneath should be okay. So I'd like to, if we maybe get some consensus on that, because those boards are looking pretty bad because they're all weather checked and everything.
And then you better be careful underneath there, there's probably some Yellow Jacket nest.
Yeah, well, that's what Pedro and his boys have to be
Yeah.
on guard for that. Yeah, so if you're, I think we're looking for a consensus on that, if you want to proceed with that, because I think the backboard really looks good.
Yeah.
Except-
Yeah,
Yes.
With
yeah,
the exception of our
really
one
did.
little
Yeah.
saggy board.
Good job.
Yeah, this isn't necessarily to proceed with the work yet, it's just, if I'm gonna go try to get maybe a couple estimates,
Yeah.
and then I'll come back to you guys next month. You know, we can make a motion then to proceed with that work. So this is just kind of for me to proceed with getting some pricing on projects.
We also talked about, as well as painting the jail cell, getting it lifted up out of the moisture, and I think that is important to do.
Well, it is, in a sense, out of the moisture, because
But-
on those boards, but the boards are cupped and that sort of thing too, so.
I got a
We did
question
talk
on
about
that
that.
jail cell. If they're gonna paint that, are they gonna sort of clean that before they paint it? I don't know, power wash it or whatever, so that I'll get all the dirt and grime off of it first.
Yeah, make
Yeah,
a
I mean,
scrape
I
that.
imagine, I know Kevin's working with, I think Tommy on this
Yeah,
too, so
there's
I think
rust-
I'll
rust
properly,
spots on it.
yeah, prep it first,
Yeah.
for sure, yeah,
Yeah, hopefully they'll do a proper
yeah.
pre-preparation.
It's easy for you to say.
No, it wasn't very easy.
Well, under your projects, maybe you want to consider the window screens over on the museum. I think there's one missing, if I'm not mistaken.
That's downstairs, yeah.
Yeah, and some of the others, the latches they're they're rotting out, really.
Yeah, and they keep popping out.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good idea, Bob, because
Uh,
we had those cup hooks, those hooks,
Yeah,
hook and eyes, and some of them were pulled out.
yeah.
Yeah, that's because the wood that the eye screws into is sort of rotted out.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, that's something we could probably do. Maybe we should have a historical commission cleanup day kind of thing over at the museum.
I don't know if they need to replace some of that wood because it's in such bad shape.
Oh, I
that you
think you
can't,
probably have to, yeah.
which would involve somebody coming in and tearing that
Okay.
part of the frames out, or at least
Okay,
look at
yeah,
it.
so that's a whole nother deal then.
Yeah,
Maybe
could
just-
be.
Redoing
Not just
the
redoing
whole, all of
the
the
locations.
screens, maybe.
Okay.
Possibly
Okay.
screen doors.
Then the other thing I was gonna suggest is maybe get an estimate from somebody about securing the floorboards in the barn.
Yeah.
So between the floorboards in the barn and screens,
And the doorstep,
the front porch, yeah, doorstep,
the doorstep to the barn, that's
doorstep to the
very
barn.
bad condition. Definitely needs replacing.
Yeah, and I think that front door in that barn, isn't that wood getting pretty bad shape on that?
Mhm, Yeah.
I mean, it's almost to the point where it's
Yeah, 'cause-
rotten, but yet, I mean, it doesn't just fall apart, but there's not much structure left to it.
Yeah, maybe we could get that guy who did those
Pedro.
pigtails, those boards on the Hank House to make some frame out of some vintage wood.
That's right, yeah.
Some door frame, new door frame.
Yeah, maybe you make a new door.
Oh, everybody goes somewhere.
Yeah, the door, yeah, I
I
think,
mean, use maybe old wood, but I'm just
Yeah.
saying a new door, so to speak.
I was just thinking of the framework, so,
Yeah.
because of the, you just like pull the hinge off. And I think someone might have done that to, in order to, you did one day.
That was Bob.
That was Bob,
Hercules.
And I was gonna throw in that, we had that crank phone donated, a little wall phone, and get that mounted too, because we could probably do it, but it might take a bunch of hands. So we got quite a little list here, don't we?
Yeah, and Larry, if I'm gonna meet with any potential contractors, I'll probably bring you in.
Sure.
So we're on the same page with,
Not a problem, Brian.
communicating.
So we have those screens manufactured, someone made those screens.
Yeah.
Because each window's slightly different mentioned, and
Oh, yeah.
they're not always the same, so. I wonder if it was the contractor who did the house.
I bet the town has the records, though.
Well, Martin might remember.
Yeah.
He's got a nice trip.
Careful what you say next. Okay, so we got a list.
Yeah, it's a good.
Projectos
Yeah.
here, huh? That's Spanish for projects.
Is it-
Any other new business? Brian?
Yeah, so Patrick wanted, yeah, me again. Patrick wanted me to bring up to the group, I guess the Kuffner family's interested in the commission, potentially doing a memorial for George Kuffner, in town, whether it be at Asti Park or, could be at Town Hall here, like, some type of memorial, recognizing him with maybe a potential little blurb or whatnot. Maybe think along the lines of, you know, we did that Bednar Benelli swing bench a couple years ago in Asti Park. So we would obviously, you know, bring in the family and get some of their feedback. But if you guys want to start thinking about that, and we can revisit it. You have any potential, you know, adding an amenity somewhere, or, you know. So I don't really have much more information. Karen, do you have? I mean, that's
That was pretty much
that was
it,
pretty
just
much
some
it,
way to honor George
Yeah, some way to
Kuffner.
honor
Very,
George,
very
yeah.
appropriate, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, feedback to them is we'd be happy to do something like that. And when Brian mentioned this to me, I kind of liked the idea of another swing bench out there, like the Bednar Benelli one, but it sounds obviously the Kuffner family's gonna have some opinions on that. So.
I would imagine they may. Yeah, I mean, at least want to know maybe what the.
But, so do some brainstorming, those of you equipped with the brain and all that sort of thing.
Oh, that cuts the number down.
I didn't mean to hack it down the number that severely, but yes. I was wondering too, but remember how George always wanted Miss Orman
Yeah, recognition.
plaque or whatever.
plaque,
Yeah. I don't know if there'd be a way to combine them or, that's as far as I've gotten.
Yeah, he really wanted that, so
Yeah.
maybe that's an area to really take a look at.
We never did do that over at the Founder's Park, did we? We were gonna have that little amphitheater be Miss Orman Amphitheater. That was one idea, I mean.
Yeah.
Well, we were sort of waiting because if we'd ever get the community building back,
Yeah.
then we thought that would be so appropriate to name that for her.
Yeah.
So we just sort of been
Yeah,
waiting,
That's right.
but, you know, who knows?
Trying to think if there's something else around that could be labeled a George Kuffner Memorial, whatever, and I can't think of anything. Yeah, okay, so be thinking about that, folks.
Okay.
Any other new business?
I've got a couple of things on
Okay.
that. I have sort of brought this up several times before, but I thought I'd bring it up again. At the photograph of the fire engine with the flamettes, and maybe donating a larger, well, we have this picture in the museum, colour photograph in the 1970s of the flamettes and the Chevrolet fire engine, and I wondered whether us would have this enlarged and maybe donated to firehouse subs, so
Oh,
maybe hang it on the wall in their eating area or something. I thought it would look really appropriate there. And I thought Katie did sound quite interested in moving that forward, but unfortunately I sort of, you know, to keep up to date with it, so I just thought I'd raise it again.
okay. Yeah, that should be, if the firehouse is open to that, it should be a pretty simple process. Yeah.
I sort of looked around last time David and I ate there, and the walls in the restaurant are sort of full because they've got this enormous cute mural. But the the hallway down to the restrooms and out to the patio area, there's quite, you know, there would be a lot of space there that
Mhm.
it
Yeah.
could be posted. So,
Well, should someone approach Firehouse?
Yeah, I mean, we can,
Would you Cartwrights want to do that?
do you wanna do that?
Or as part of what you're doing with the chamber and everything to
Oh, yeah.
pictures, just
yeah, I mean.
include that as
Yeah.
stuff in there. We're putting these pictures together for over in Sports Stable.
Yeah.
Would
Yeah,
you,
yeah.
and then just do another one?
Yeah, it could be,
I'm sure they'd be,
yeah,
amenable
no,
to
yeah.
that.
we can,
Oh, okay.
Mhm.
yeah.
Okay.
Do we know if we ever got the pictures back, or did they, from the pizza shop? Remember the pizza place that was down by
Where Del
Safeway?
Vecchio's is.
They had all kinds of pictures in there. Now,
Mm.
maybe it belonged to them,
Yeah.
or whether I was thinking we furnished those, or,
I don't think we furnished them. I think Patrick or Martin
Yeah.
allowed them access to the photos and they printed them up.
They print it.
oh, okay,
Yeah.
oh, okay.
Yeah, I think it was done at their expense.
Rock Creek Pizza, was it? That was
I think so.
before Del Vecchio's,
Yeah.
was that pizza place there?
Yeah, it was before,
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
Vecchio's.
It'd be
Nice.
nice to get those back.
Yeah, I-
Get
They were
them.
nice pictures,
It's
Yeah,
a
they had
big
some
too.
good ones, yeah.
yeah.
By the way, in reference to the fire truck, Matt Rarick came up with a very ingenious system for keeping the battery charger on it. So he got a little trickle charger and bolted it to the bottom of the running board. And then plugs it in and then puts it on the battery, and so it's trickling all the time. And the only trouble is, of course, that there's no outlet in the Guardian, but if they keep it charged up enough and bring it over to the firehouse, then it's ready for us.
Is it back in Guardian now?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, they just brought it out so we could use it, bring it out for the
Okay.
last opening. Probably what we'll do again this month, I suppose, but,
Oh, real quick.
yes.
About the fire truck, when, it is quite dusty right now and dirty, so
Mm.
we'll just have to think about, you know, getting it cleaned up if we're gonna do a photo shoot in
Oh,
Lafayette,
yeah.
so.
Yeah.
And for the 4th of July?
Yeah, for the 4th of
For the
July,
parade.
yeah.
Yeah, it's just more dust, but it's real noticeable.
Yeah, it is
So-
noticeable, yeah.
So we either have to
Maybe that can be a
get a
work
duster or
day.
just do a wash job, I
Yeah.
guess.
There's a hose
Do
bib
we
at
have
the old
that
fire
duster in
station.
our garage somewhere?
No, it's over in the motorhome.
We have
We
a
have
really
a
good duster. in the
duster.
motorhome.
It's made by Turtle Wax.
Hmm.
And I suppose if I keep forgetting about it, I'll go over there and see if I can get it out.
Talk to each other,
Yeah.
remind each other.
Yeah, we will, because it's a good one.
Yeah, well, if you-
Very good.
Or I could probably go over to any one of these auto shops and see if they have them
I'm sure
and
they,
get our own and just leave
Yeah,
it.
that would
That's
be a good
idea.
idea.
Yeah.
and just.
I don't know how expensive they are, but I'm sure the
Well, we've
town.
got $4,500.
Yeah, that'd be fine.
Sort
Not
that,
bad.
okay,
Yeah.
so.
Yeah. Well,
Let's do that.
Matt mentioned there actually are these mobile detailers that will come on site
Mm.
and actually detail and really, you know, obviously there's a cost associated with that, but.
I was gonna say,
yeah.
that's not necessarily cheap.
I know.
We could try a duster and see
Yeah.
what we think, and if that works, then we could actually keep that pretty well dusted.
Yeah, it's probably just, yeah.
Otherwise, you know, on vintage equipment, you have to be careful of washing them because they might leak here and there. So, you know, in other words, all of a sudden you got an inch of water in the cab.
Oh, yeah.
I'll do note to self, do it. Go over to the,
We're going on to 45, an hour and 45 here, so any other new
I
business?
think just one more item.
Oh, one more from David.
There's a feature on the local Fox News channel last night about the camp I think the CC used when they were building Red Rocks in the 1930s.
Oh, yeah.
Apparently the City of Denver Parks Department they've got a grant it's coming from the marijuana tax
Oh.
to actually completely restore the buildings where the workers lived. So they've been trying to get that for quite some time apparently, so it's kind of that's now up and running during the
That'd be
next year.
nice.
So,
Oh, good. good history preservation
Yeah.
used there.
Right.
Yeah. Anything else? We go to the order.
Well, I move the meeting be adjourned.
Is there a second?
Seconded.
Okay.
And it's
Usual
over.
suspects, moved and seconded. Okay. Good going, everybody. We'll just
Oh, I'd like to leave.
keep our list of things to do going and see you all on June 2nd, if not sooner.